Welcome back to another weekly grocery haul, though some of it is for the pantry and some of it for the freezer as well. But this is what I bought this week, so let's get over everything. So if we start with produce as always. I have some spring mix for a salad and also for things like sandwiches and uh, stuff like that. Apples, because I always have apples on hand, so if I'm craving something sweet, I have something healthy to snack on. I have some asparagus for 2 meals this week. I got a whole bag of carrots. I'm just going to use one or two for things like a stir fry and stuff. Some cucumber for sandwiches and also for some tzatziki. Some onions because I'm out and I always need onions, so I got some red and some yellow. I got some spring onions, mostly for garnish. I like adding that to a couple of things. Some peppers for things like tacos, to go with some shawarma, just a couple of things. Then some chilies. Again, I like having chilies on hand, and I'm going to use some for the tacos, for the shawarma, etc. And some tomatoes for curry. So I still have some green beans in the fridge, so I didn't need any of that. And a few other bits and pieces in the fridge. So just working through that before I buy anything new. But yeah, produce this week came to 18 euros and 29 cents. And then before we forget, one thing in the category of household slash personal care, I needed some Q-tips, especially for after I shower to get the water out of my ear because I'm prone to ear infection, so I like drying my ears. That was 69 cents. Then we have some meat and dairy. My nephew's with me today for dinner. He wanted some toasties, so I'm going to have that with ham and cheese. He's going to have his with salami and cheese. And then for lunch tomorrow, I have some flatbread with some chicken breast. So that looks like a lot of deli meat, but that's because my nephew's here and it's for several meals. Before I forget, all the way back there, some Greek yogurt that I'm going to use for some tzatziki. And I might also give that breakfast thing a try again. I'm not a big breakfast eater, but lately I've been hungry in the morning, so I'll have some yogurt with some fruit. Some sausages, chipolata for 2 meals this week. Some shawarma for tomorrow. I haven't fully decided yet if I'm going to do some pita bread or some rice or something like that, but I know I'm going to have that with shawarma and some vegetables like onions, garlic, chilies, peppers, etc. Some butter because it was on sale this week and I like having that on hand. Some fake cheese like the American cheddar slices because I'm out and I like having that on hand for things like burgers. That's the only thing I use it for really. And then a big bag of frozen tilapia. I'm gonna use some for a fish curry on Friday, but most of that is just gonna stay in the freezer. So meat and dairy this week came to 25 euros and 36 cents. And then we have everything else. So we have some mustard because I'm out of mustard. I have some tomato puree that's going to go in the tacos. And some is for the pantry. My 2 bars of chocolate for the week. Then I have a whole bunch of these sugar-free syrups that you know I like to use. I like having those on hand. They were on sale this week, so I stocked up. I'm not going to use all of that in 1 week. So, what else? I have some herring, canned herring. I just saw that and it's nice to have these are not the typical herrings. These are like pickled and they're cooked. So that's the ones I like. If I have herring, I don't like the other ones that you can get here. So that's just gonna go in the pantry. I have 2 different kinds. My 1 bag of chips for the week, the Flaming Hot. My nephew picked those out. He likes them. And let's see. We have some flatbread that's gonna be for lunch tomorrow with the chicken breast. And if you hear me being a bit distracted, that's because in the background I'm looking up the total already in converted into US dollars because I forgot to do the total. Some bread because my nephew wanted toasties, and I'm gonna have some sandwiches, probably with some salami and or ham for lunch, while he has some chocolate croissants. So that bread is for a couple of meals. And then I have some pita bread. I might use some of this with the shawarma, or it's gonna all go in the pantry. It's like a 2-pack, so I'm either gonna use half of this or all of it is gonna go in the pantry. So all of that came to 33 euros and 11 cents. Most of that is the syrups. That's about half of that. So, but that will last me a long time. So the grand total for this week is 77 euros and 45 cents, and converted into US dollars, that is $90.04. So if you like this kind of content, I do this every single Saturday. And if you'd like to see what I do with all of this, every Sunday I do a Sunday prep day video where I prep for the week. So I'm going to make the tzatziki, for example, tomorrow. I'm going to cut all my veg. But other times I also make like soups, stews, that kind of stuff. And if you want to see what I ultimately eat, you can check out my Instagram where I post every single meal, or you can check out the video that I post about once a month on here where I show you everything I eat in a day for a whole week. So if that all sounds good to you, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, bye for now.